Good evening. Hi, we're going to get started. We're reconvening to open session at 6:16 p.m. I have a report from closed session. Oh, no. First, we reconvene to open session at 6:16. Next, we're going to have the flag salute. Please rise. 1, 2, 3, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to report on action taken in closed session. The board took action in closed session regarding student expulsion hearing case number 2526-4 pursuant to Education Code Section 48918 and approved a stipulated expulsion agreement. The action was approved by a unanimous vote. There is no other action to report at a closed session. Okay, our next item will be adoption of the agenda. I move. Okay, is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. And the next will be adoption of the consent.
I have two items I'd like to pull, 8 and 24.
24
and 8.
and 8.
It's this
Okay. So 8 is approve the legal services agreement with Lozano Smith. And then 24 is
illegal. XXIV.
thank you. Rick, can you say that again? Which one is it?
Uh,
Alevo Learning for
yeah.
extended learning? Okay. So number 24, Alevo Learning. Okay, any other changes or requests? Okay.
I move to adopt with pulling 8 and 24 from the consent to discussion.
Okay, do we have a second?
One second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Adoption agenda is amended with item 8 and item 24 moving to discussion after. Here's Q. After approve adoption of district developed ethnic studies course and curriculum, 8 will be Lozano Smith and 3 will be Lozano Smith and 4 will be Alevo Learning. Okay. Next, we will be moving on to presentations and recognition and presentations. And I would like to invite Curtis up for the North Monterey County Unified School Human Resources Update.
Everybody in the audience, nice to be here this evening. This is that time of year where I update the board on where we are in terms of hiring and making sure that we have our fully qualified staff in front of our students on the first day. So have a couple comparisons to show you. Let me find my clicker here. There it is, where it always is. Thank you. Okay, so again, just a reminder of our HR team. We have Susie Salaya as our administrative assistant at the front desk. Caroline Calderon is our executive assistant. Jasmine Hernandez is our HR specialist for certificated staff. And Emily Masri is our HR specialist for classified staff. The classified got put in the names there. Val Bigham is our coordinator of human resources. Myself as assistant superintendent, and Gail McKee is our induction TOSA. So I think it's the same team as we had at the end of last year. So they have been very, very busy, as you will see here. So if you remember in last year, and I apologize for the formatting when I think the screen is squeezing a little bit. So last year at this point, we had 5 to be hired, 37 hired for a total of 42 employees for certificated. This year, I'm happy to report we have 5 still to be hired. Kind of, I'll get there in a moment. We have hired 27 for a total of 32 people. So you'll see it trending down to where we'll talk a little bit for those reasons. Classified, and again, looks like it bumped over to the left a little bit. Last year, we had 13 to be hired at this time. We had hired 28 people for a total of 41. This year, we have 7 to be hired. We have hired 23 people for a total of 30. So 11 fewer people. And again, that is due to retention of keeping employees. And again, with the formatting, I apologize. Number of new hires here. Now, what I will say right now is this, you'll see the date of 7/16. That is when the board agenda items were due. And I uploaded this presentation. So that was last week, last Thursday. So these numbers are about a week old, and that'll be reflected in a few slides here. So you can see it classified. We were, wow, this really got messed up. Okay, is there a PDF version of it, hopefully? I'll read it to you anyways, though. For 24-25, we had hired 50 classified positions, 55 certificated, and 12 management. That was a lot. We had a very, very busy year walking in the door. Last year, we whittled that down a little bit to 45 classified, 40 certificated, and 4 management. Now, for the 26-27 school year right now, 30 classified. I'm looking for it here. It is 32. It's in the blue, 32 for certificated, and we are at 8 management. So again, we are trending in the right direction on retaining employees and not having to hire as many employees year after year. Oh, there you go. I promised you it was correct. Okay, so if we go on to the next slide, actually, if you want to, perfect. Thank you. Oh, there we go. That looks much better. Okay, so what is working? And I would say that those numbers show that it is working, what is happening in our HR department. Our postings, when we post on EdJoin or post in other publications, we're keeping the postings very clean. And what that means is we're being specific with what the job is and what type of candidate we're looking for. We have an end date in mind. Open postings don't work. When we keep things running open forever and ever and post for the year, the candidates get frustrated because they don't know when to expect a phone call or to be contacted, and they oftentimes drop out by the time we get around to asking them to interview. And we follow through. Our recruitment is purposeful, and we know our audience. When we go to a recruitment fair, we know what we're going for. We know where we're going, which recruitment fair is more classified driven, which one is more certificated driven, and we go knowing our jobs. And this summer, we started offering jobs on the spot with a preview interview, and then barring everything being correct that we saw in the preview interview, they'll have an offer. And our customer service, we are providing accurate and timely information when people call. Our onboarding has become much more robust. The employees know what to expect when they come in to get their paperwork for their fingerprinting, and we are able to answer all of their questions. And our resignation form, as discussed previously, I know this doesn't look like it fits, but it does fit, and it drives how we recruit employees. We've added questions designed to inform us on why employees are leaving our district if and when they do. And that guides us when we go out to recruit in future endeavors. So site specific. Some of these slides make me smile because right now at Castroville, we don't have anything to fill. We are fully staffed for the school year. Echo Valley, fully staffed for the school year. This is very different than we've seen in years past at this time when I'm sitting here before you 3 weeks before school starts. Elkhorn, we have 1 yard duty position. I have heard that the interviews are happening next week. Prunedale. So what you'll see here is I did submit this presentation a week ago. If there is a red line, it means we have hired that position since last week. So I updated you slightly here. So certificated, we have hired the elementary prep teacher for Prunedale. We're still working on the instructional assistant for PE. That is next week as well. The MTSS assistant is next week, and we just made an offer to the assistant principal. So we are looking pretty good there. Looks like we jumped here. Let me go back. All right. For our middle school, we have hired a social science teacher since I made this presentation. So that offer has been sent and accepted, and we're looking for a child nutrition assistant 1 still. Our high school, we had a math teacher we just hired. So we are fully staffed at the high school now as well. And for Central Bay and Independent Study, we're jumping a little bit here. Go back. We are looking for, and what this is VAPA world language, but it's only 3 periods during a week. And so with these positions, we are offering them to our current staff now to work a period during the week or 2 periods during the week to fill those sections that are open in the schedules for Central Bay and Independent Study. So those will be filled as soon as our staff starts checking their emails, I guarantee it. And when we move on to special services, we are looking to, I believe, next week as well, instructional specialist, special services. You approved that board job description at our last board meeting. So that the interviews are being set up for that currently. The central office, we had an accounting technician opened. We have interviewed, I believe, since I wrote the word interviewed there today, we have made a job offer already. So a little later after I left the office tonight. And in FMOT, we are, as usual, looking for a school bus driver. This is an extra one just to make sure we have enough drivers in case people are out. A maintenance worker, which I believe that is being set up for next week. And we're still looking to fill the executive director role for FMOTS. And we have some strategy meetings coming up next week to discuss that. That is your HR update. And of course, I will do another one at our next board meeting to let you know how the first day of school went, or the second day of school, I believe, that Thursday. So, any questions?
Thank you, Curtis.
Of course.
I want to introduce our new student board member, Jasmine, before I start inviting her to do her preferential vote. Jasmine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Jasmine Perez. I'm a incoming senior at North Monterey County High School, and I'm 17 years old. And I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. So we always start with you when I remember, and sometimes I forget. So please wave at me like, Sandra, knock it off. I need you to call me because I'm first, because students are first. So you get to ask any questions right now. If you have any questions about the presentation that Curtis, who is responsible for all the hiring of teachers and staff and administrators, you get to go first. So it's okay if you don't have any questions, but if you do, please feel comfortable asking them.
I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Welcome, Jasmine. Angelo? Okay, thank you. Martha?
I do.
Yes.
So obviously the numbers do look great.
Yeah.
So congrats on that. But I know this is something I have had asked before, and I'm not sure if this is something that you can provide and give us like a breakdown for, when we talk about position control, right? Which affects our budget. And I look at the 30 positions that were hired. And when we say we've hired all these positions, which ones of those were actually new positions and which ones were already in our budget that we're just backfilling? Is that something that you guys track? Is that something you guys can provide?
It is, and I can provide you, I mean, I will tell you that 95% of these are filling positions that were vacated. Any new position coming through will come through the board, so you'll know it's a brand new position that didn't exist before. But I can get you a breakdown of that as well.
Yeah, because when you do this overall summary, I'm just so used to seeing in my world, like, okay, out of the 30 positions, 10 of these were new.
Right.
Yes, they came before us, but then we get a bigger picture.
Yeah.
That, wow, we created 10 new positions this year.
Right.
So when it comes time to position control, we go back and say, well, we created this for this reason. What has changed, right?
Yeah, I can bring that. I actually had it in here and it was a lot. And so I removed that slide, but I can
It was
provide
a
for
lot?
you. It was a lot of information on a slide. It was a lot of numbers everywhere. And if that's not what you were looking for, it would have been a little overwhelming. So I will bring it to you.
Like, for example, when you have the 30,
Mhm.
just out of the 30, break it down 2 layers, right? Like
Yep.
30 positions, 25 were new and 5 were, like you said, 90%. So
Yeah,
then-
it would be backwards. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
Like that.
Okay. Will do.
And if that's something you can provide in an email, or is that something you want to
Yeah,
bring back? It's
super
totally
simple.
up to you.
Yep. I'll get it for you in an email. I'll send it to Dr. Turkey and have him send it out to you.
And then the whole board can get it.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay, thank you. Adriana?
No, thank you. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you for the work.
Absolutely. A team effort. They behind the scenes have been doing amazing.
Rick, do you have any questions or comments?
Just thank you for the presentation.
Of course.
Okay, next I'll invite any public comment. If there's any public comment on the presentation from Curtis. Okay, seeing none. Is there any on Zoom? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close public comment. Thank you, Curtis. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
your presentation. Appreciate the update. Okay, we're gonna be moving on to our next item, which is board reports, and we always start with our student. Jasmine, do you have a board report, an update?
Yeah, I do.
What wonderful. Oh, No, we didn't. Oh, sorry. Just one second. Is there any public comment on non-agenda item matters? Okay, seeing none here. Is there any on Zoom? No, okay, I'm closing public comment on non-agenda matters. Now you have the floor, Jasmine. Thank you.
Um, since it's summer, there's not too much to report on with like what's going on at school. So Dr. Turkey kind of encouraged me to do a presentation about myself so you guys could get to know me more.
Oh, wonderful.
So my name is Jasmine Perez Gutierrez, and I'm an incoming senior at North Monterey County High School. I am 17 years old, and I'm also an active member of the school's ASB, and I've also participated in various sports and clubs at the school. And these are some of the things that I think are important to me. My friends, they've helped me have a very memorable experience, not just in school, but in life. Education is important to me. These are some pictures from my science class. These are like when I was doing dissections and labs, which I think is very important because they help students keep engaged in what we're learning. And I love my pets, and my family is also very important to me since they support me and help me be more successful. I also have I take a liking to gardening. My parents have always been into it more than I have, but I think 8th grade year I started to take more of a liking into it because I took a class my 8th grade year. It was called Intro to Agriculture in the middle school. And I was able to learn more about the science behind it, and it made me more passionate about it. And then I'm very passionate about wrestling. I participate through our school's team here, and these are some pictures of me and my teammates and some of the things I've accomplished. And yeah, sports are very important, I think, because they help students be more social and gain valuable experiences and learn things. Yeah. The reason why I was interested in this position was because I wanted to know more about how our schools, how the choices that impact our students and their education are made. And I also wanted to just have more of an involved role in that as well. And there are some upcoming dates like the freshman orientation, which I believe is next week on Monday, August 3rd. That's correct. And yeah, it's from 8 to 12 p.m. for all freshmen to come, and it's at the school. And also the first day of school is on Tuesday, August 11th. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move to Angelo. Do you have a board report?
Shows interesting, but no.
So interesting. Okay, thank you. Martha?
Well, we've all been on a little break, which has been nice, right? Our last meeting was like 3 weeks ago. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. I really know that a lot of us have been having some beautiful weather. The thing I do want to, because we're not going to be back here until I heard what, August 13th. I apologize. Didn't get to print the flyer, but I do want to make an announcement. Our annual scholarship, LULAC scholarship ceremony is going to be on August 3rd, which is on a Monday. And I will be sending that information to Dr. Turkey. So then you could post it and invite those that are interested. I did reserve because I was trying to find a location. It's on a Monday night at 5:30. Usually we have this at the library at a Japanese school. Neither one of those places were available. So thank goodness the Family Resource Center said they were available. So I'm having it there. And I believe we have like 11 students that we're honoring. And we'll have a motivational speaker. We'll honor the students and give them their actual checks, which was totaling about $11,000 that LULAC is offering. So hopefully you're all welcome, and I'll make sure to give you guys the invitations.
Thank you, Martha. It's wonderful to give back to our students. So very appreciate your efforts. Adriana?
No, just hope everyone is enjoying their summer and welcome, Jasmine. Anything we can do to make it better, understand how things run in the meeting or anytime you want to just meet, let me know. And we're really excited for you to join us. Welcome.
Thank you, Adriana. Rick?
Yeah, welcome, Jasmine. Did great on your presentation.
Mhm.
At the Castroville Rec Center, we moved the new art show festival that we took control of, and or whatever the words are, to May. That wasn't my recommendation, but that's what the committee did. But it gives us more time to plan and get more involvement and stuff like that. But there is going to be it's called the Green and Gold Gala at the Rec Center on September 5th. It's going to be from 5 to 9. Great food, $75. Dessert, live DJ, live auction. So there's that. It's pretty soon. The rec center is always also having last hurrah of the summer on August 7th. Should be pretty cool. I don't know if the district's part of it. It says, I don't know. Supervisor Church is having a Prunedale Grange town hall for the Prunedale community. And the Castroville community drop off at the waste management. You could take literally anything. It says like appliances, mattresses, electronic waste on August 8th, Saturday, 8 to 10:30 in Castroville. And Sunday there's a Moss Landing street fair that's happening in Moss Landing at 8 in the morning. And then there's a little new event happening that day right there. It's like a barbecue event, and I don't eat meat, but it's been
Maybe don't
25
barbecue
years.
veggies.
But what got me interested is the Expendables are going to be there. Also, the fall is coming, and the late summer for the fall sports is really exciting. Football, flag football. They're all getting ready. Cross country, of course. They're out of town, or I don't know if they still are, but they probably are. They're always do good every year. And that's it.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. I don't have a report, so we will move on to superintendent's report.
Right, thank you so much. Okay, so if we just go straight to the second slide, please. So this morning was actually the highlight of my week. I think it's the highlight of my month, actually. So it was pretty fantastic. So 40 students, some of our neediest students came to JCPenney's, and we got to partner with those students and essentially go around the store and buy back to school garments for them. So that would be things from underwear, socks, jeans, hoodies, t-shirts, shoes, all of those kind of things. And it was a very heartwarming experience, and it felt really good to be able to go and do that for students. And so I want to give a shout out to the Family and Community Engagement Specialists and Yvette for organizing all of this. And I'll tell you, there were so many smiles that day, so many smiles. And thank you also to all of the volunteers who came and helped and took the kids shopping. So yeah, a really great morning. Next slide, please. Okay, so while summer has been on, we've had Nest at our schools. And so let's see, we've had Nest at a couple of our elementary schools, at the middle school, at the high school, and we've also had the expanded summer school also for students with disabilities as well. And yeah, so lots of summer fun and summer feeding has been happening all across the district for the summer as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so last year towards the end of, I think it was April, actually, the high school went through its WASC accreditation. And we just recently heard back that the high school is now, it's been accredited. And so it got its accreditation and it got it for 7 years. Now, up until now, I only thought it was only ever for 6 years. Now they've added 7 years for schools who do such a superb job. So there was recognition for providing high quality education. And we got a lot of props from the WASC report. So I want to give props to the high school team for doing such a nice job. I see one of our high school teachers here tonight. Nice job, you and all the team. Next slide, please. Okay, it is that time of the year again when we are asking all of our families to update their information on Parent View. Okay, so if you have not yet done this, please go online and update your Parent View education and all of that information within there, please. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Okay. So staff spotlight. Our staff spotlight today is for a team, effort. We found ourselves in a bit of a pickle with transfers. They were backlogged and they needed clearing. And Brianna, Katie, and Stephanie essentially were the team who came together and said, we are going to do this. They sat together. This is about 2 weeks ago. Okay. And they sat together and they have knocked all of this out on top of all of their normal jobs as well. And so I want to give props to Stephanie, Brianna, and Katie. Thank you so much for this service which you're doing. And we really, really appreciate it. So that's the staff spotlight today.
Well done, Matt.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay,
Well done.
wonderful. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that report. Okay, next we'll be moving on to our Classified School Employees Association. Is there a representative here that would like to make a report? Seeing none, is there a representative online? Nope. Okay. We will move on to our Teachers Federation. Is there an NMCFT representative that would like to make a report? Seeing none here, is there any representative on Zoom that would like to make a report? No? Okay, we will move on to discussion, action, and or information items. Our first item is to approve the 26-27 annual declaration of need for fully qualified educators. Curtis, come on up.
Everybody. All right. This is an absolutely routine item that we put up every year for approval from the board. This allows us to certify that any staff member that is not fully credentialed, but has the coursework to back up their expertise in that subject area can receive a waiver and teach for us. So looking for the board's approval on this to let us do anything we need to do to get teachers in front of students on our first day.
Okay, thank you. Are there any clarifying questions? And Jasmine, I will start with you. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Angela? No? Okay, Martha?
No.
Adriana?
No.
Okay, Rick?
No.
Okay, I invite any public comment. Okay, seeing none. Is there any public comment on Zoom? No? Okay, I'm going to close public comment. Are there any members of the board that would like to make any additional comments before we invite a vote? No, actually, I invite a motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. Any discussion? Any further comments? No. Okay, so I'm going to invite a vote. And I'm going to start with Jasmine. Jasmine, how do you vote to approve 26-27 annual declaration of need for fully qualified educators?
Aye.
Good. Okay. Okay, now I'll open it up to the rest of the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
Next, we will invite up, oh, Swati, welcome.
Thank you.
And the discussion item is to approve adoption of district-developed ethnic studies course and curriculum.
Well, good evening,
Welcome.
President Ruiz, trustees, and Superintendent Turkey and community members. Let me start by first introducing myself for people who don't know me yet. I'm day 14 on the job. Swati Dagger. I am the new Assistant Superintendent of Education Services, and I am excited to be here finishing 2 official weeks, right?
Wow.
Well, today I'm here to present a recap of the ethnic studies curriculum presentations that have happened and pretty much engage and talk about the engagement that has happened with our community and the student and the community feedback. Before we move on to asking the next steps that lead to tonight's board action. Next slide. Oh, I got it. Here we go. So our work is aligned with the vision and mission of our school district. What we really stand for is making sure all of our students are college ready and career ready and life ready. The most important part of the ethnic studies course is giving a perspective to students, giving them a voice and having them recognize who they are and the different perspectives of the students that they sit next to every single day. It's really aligned with our core values. I'm not going to read them to you, but I do want to point out, it says 111. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. It should be 1, 2, and 3.
You're all number 1.
The second one that talks about being culturally responsive. How do we build that in our students to be life ready? How do we make them human-centered to hear each other's perspectives and learn how to collaborate as they go out into the life and career readiness world? That is something that we have to explicitly teach kids right from the beginning when they enter our schools all the way till high school. It's our responsibility and we don't take it lightly. The last one, which is the third one, to engage in continuous improvement. Our work with the ethnic studies implementation, curriculum development is always about continuous improvement. Get feedback and makes data-based decisions to improve. We are a district that works on a continuous improvement theory, and that is something we live and breathe and do work with every single day. So what's the work we've done so far? A quick recap. We have had opportunities for stakeholder engagement. We had the Ethnic Studies Advisory Committee that helped guide the course development. We've gathered input through students and community feedback, family surveys, which I'll review in just a second. And we have opportunities for community input. We have heard from community members. We also had our course description available online for the review for public, and we've shared the course content, scope and sequence with our community. When thinking of board engagement oversight, we've come to the board. Staff has been here with the board to provide periodic updates, to review committee feedback, and there have been opportunities for public discussion during the board meetings and otherwise as well. Besides the board meetings that happened after the June 2nd study session, there was a 30-day preview of the scope and sequence, the curriculum materials that was for public. And we took a student feedback survey that was launched at the end of semester 2. So what do our survey feedback show? Our student survey, we received 229 responses. And that was so great to get that. Exactly. That was so great to get that feedback. Most of the feedback, as you can see, I've tried to get the survey questions and the strongly agree, disagree. We do see that our students have clearly stated that the course content has helped them better understand their own identities and understand the community, our local North Monterey community better. We've got 84, almost 86% of the students stating that. Something that we want to continue based on our continuous theory, improvement theory work is looking at the last 2 survey questions. We're taking this seriously, so we have to make sure we provide opportunities for students to collaborate and communicate. They still need that. They're saying it explicitly. They feel like we have opportunities for them to be more critical thinkers. That's important feedback for us, hearing the student voice. So our community survey feedback on the materials, we had 42 responses. And most of the responses showed appreciation. We had 24% of the responses showing appreciation for the local community connections. Very important for us to keep in mind as we're thinking of our curriculum and implementation and improvements. Community also stated that they really liked that the course reflected student identity, belonging, and cultural understanding. Something that may not necessarily or explicitly be taught or discussed in classrooms. We do have requests for continued and increased transparency around the course content. Important feedback to keep in mind and think of as we're looking at implementations. We also got requests for ensuring balanced and academically rigorous instruction. We've got to make sure that when we walk into the classroom, my job is to see that the curriculum is implemented and discussions are rich and appropriate for students at that level. So keeping all of this feedback in mind, what are some of our takeaways and next steps? We're going to continue taking our community input and interest and highlighting our local North Monterey community, such as getting guest speakers from our community that students can relate to, that students can hear from and reach back out to if needed. Also, we are going to keep our course overview and curriculum materials available online for the community. We're also going to make sure that we provide balanced and academically rigorous student-centered instruction. We're going to continue meeting with our Ethnic Studies Committee. We're in an ever-changing world, and meeting with the committee will help us get feedback, which is very critical as we're implementing this course. And we're also going to make sure we reflect and use data, which is one of our very important core values. Of course, we're going to come back to the Board of Trustees. Our hope is to come back in February of 2027 after the first semester is over and we have received quality input. If I were to summarize all of the slides and all the things I've talked about so far, that feedback summary in one sentence is we have strong interest in students and many of the community members. There's a need and request for continued transparency and a request for incorporating local connections. You saw that in our takeaways. That is something we're taking seriously and we'll be implementing that and using this feedback to guide our work. At this time, staff is seeking approval from the Board of Trustees for the adoption of the Ethnic Studies curriculum and the course for our high schools. With that, I am ready for any questions.
Thank you. We will start with any clarifying questions with our student. Jasmine, do you have any? No? Okay. Angelo, any clarifying
I should
questions?
probably put a list together, so.
Okay, of course. I'll come back to you. Martha?
Regarding the committee meetings, you identified 3. I remember going to 1. And was this committee, when I went, there was parents, there was staff, lots of students. What was the head count of, because I remember the first one was like 26 people there. So do you remember the size of the actual committee meeting?
Yeah, so those dates, 2 parts to your question, those dates were the board meeting dates. I didn't put the committee meeting dates, they were the board meeting dates. But the committee had about 18 to 20 people. And yeah, that was the size. I wasn't there. I'm so sorry. I wasn't in the district at that time, but that is the number of committee members besides staff members. It's anywhere about 18.
So those were the board meeting dates, not the committee meeting
Yes.
dates. So how many of the committee meeting dates did you guys have?
From what I know, from what I have seen in the documents, we had at least 3 or 4.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, 4.
And I can go and check that as well.
Okay. And then from the survey, there was 229 responses for the student survey. So that was like school-wide,
Yes, it was
every
open.
grade level.
It was open to all students, and the students that took the course actually responded to that one. So it was open to the students that took the course for either of the semesters.
So how many students took the course? Do you know?
I don't have the number off my hand.
So
Sorry, we
I-
can get back.
I can answer that. So essentially it flip-flops. So every single ninth grade student took the course. Half of the ninth grade took the course in semester 1. The other half of the ninth grade took the course in semester 2. It flip-flops with health.
So the 229 were students that took the course.
Correct.
So that's how many students took the course.
No, that's how many students took the survey who took the course.
So we don't know what the number of students that participated in the course.
I can find it out. It's the exact number of ninth grade
Ninth grade.
students. And it may not be the exact number who actually took the survey.
Okay. And it is an elected, the choice.
It is not. It is a graduation requirement.
Okay. And then, because we voted on this,
Correct.
and I just wanted to kind of clarify that because that wasn't on the presentation, just so.
Yes,
we
it
could
is.
make
It
sure.
is a graduation requirement for all students to take.
Okay. And then there were 42 responses on the community survey.
Correct.
And looking at the survey results, obviously you could, the percentage on both for the class was, what was the percentage, the total percentage? I can't
On
remember.
both, I'm sorry, could you,
Okay, so for the 229 responses, the percentage, supporting it
Yeah.
was what, 80%?
84%,
84.
about anywhere from 82 to.
Supporting it, right?
There was no, if I can butt in, there was no question for the students which said, do you support the class? Instead, there were questions like, do you better understand your identities? Do you better understand the North Monterey County communities? Those kind of things. And for the community survey, which was the one which was online for the 30-day viewing of the curriculum materials, then there would be people who appreciated certain things and then people who requested certain things. And in terms of the percentages here, what I'm seeing is, appreciation goes anywhere from 10% to 24%. Certain requests go from 10% to 24%. To dig into the kind of like the people who were kind of like for or against, it wasn't a question which kind of teased it out exactly.
There
like
was
that.
not.
It's fine. I mean, looking at the questions and the answers, you can kind of gauge it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I go back and look at that, you're right. It doesn't specifically ask that. And then the next steps. Report back to the Board of Trustees in February 2027. So how often, I know you guys reported to us, like those were 3 meetings, huh? You guys.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the first time like we've had that much feedback and report back regarding a course to the board, right? Because
Correct.
that's not normal practice. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And we were hoping to come back in February after we had time to implement the semester, get feedback from the advisory committee and the students and report that feedback so that you have regular feedback.
And everyone who's invited to the advisory committee meetings, is it open or is there only certain people that are invited?
So I can answer that question. So there's only certain people who are on the committee. It's people who raised their hands and said, I want to be on the committee. However, they are open meetings to the public. So any member of the public can come and show up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adriana,
No questions. Thank you.
Rick,
Was there open-ended questions on the survey where they could just put their own
Yes.
like words? Were there any students that felt marginalized themselves because they maybe felt like they were like the ones that have ancestors, or they were like a certain non-brown color, or like
We didn't, the results didn't particularly flag that, but definitely the request came that we'd like to know more about our community and other perspectives as well, which we mentioned in our
nothing
next
like
steps.
you didn't get a sense of any students saying that?
No, not that we know of, no. not in the surveys.
And how often are the meetings, the ethics setting meetings?
I'm gonna have to look back at the exact dates.
No,
But-
just like,
oh,
are they
you-
monthly or?
Oh, moving on, you mean,
Yeah.
for going forward?
Yeah.
Well, our hope is to first start the implementation, and then we'll gather the committee back in about a month, month and a half, and then we'll decide on the future dates and see how the implementation is going. I would be premature right now to have a set time because I would want to see the implementation in classrooms
So
first.
we approved ethnic studies, the class regardless. And if we don't approve curriculum, what is the next step after that?
I can jump in here. So when this came to the board about a year ago, it was for the course approval. And rather than approving the course, the board said, we're going to approve it as a 1-year pilot. Okay. And so this is approved as a 1-year pilot. So we're coming back now with this, having been in pilot status, asking for it to be approval in permanent status. Now, it being in permanent status, it does need approval from the board for the students to actually be able to get this within their high school transcript. It does need to be approved. Could it be approved as a pilot course? It could be approved as a pilot course. What we're asking is for it to be approved as a permanent course, however, and that doesn't mean that there can't be tweaks done to the course. Okay, so what we'd like to do is continue engaging with the community because there's clearly interest. Okay, clearly interest to continue to be engaged around the course content. We need to keep on talking to students and we need to keep on talking to the community around the course. And so that would be our plan to do so.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Rick. Angelo, you want to ask your clarifying questions?
It's kind of unfair. It's hard to ask questions because you showed up and you weren't here for the past year. So it's like, I don't expect you to give me answers if you weren't here.
I'll defer to Dr. Turkey if I don't know.
Some of the responses you're giving would be a great response if we were to continue this for a pilot program. This ethnic study, well, how about a clarifying question? Trustee Chavarria asked if this is a graduation requirement. It was answered yes. There's a little bit more caveat to this. It's a graduation requirement because a board made it a graduation requirement.
Correct.
Give me a second, Dr. But before we made it a graduation requirement because we assumed states was gonna, with Assembly Bill 101, was gonna be a state mandate, but the caveat is if funded. I'm asking you a loaded question, but is it funded?
No, it is not funded.
So the state no longer requires it to be a graduation requirement. So it is in effect a graduation requirement for North Monterey County Unified School District. But how this all started was because it was going to be, we were under the impression that it was going to be funded. And thus the entire state says mandatory for graduation requirement. So I just wanted to get that clarification. This is tough because a lot of my questions were for Antonio.
We can still attempt to answer them if
Yeah,
you like.
I'm just gonna make it. There's questions I asked Antonio about this being a pilot program and getting it back to us. I understand the urgency of approving a curriculum, but I don't feel that it met, it's probably better for discussion what I have to say. What's percentage? A lot of my stuff is gonna be, well, how about this, a bit different? Tonight you're asking us, I want to confirm, you want us to approve everything, right? The course, syllabus, the map and scope, sequence, instructional materials?
Correct. It would be just unrelated curriculum materials. It's a little bit, it's a little bit different from other things because there isn't a textbook as such.
Looking at the materials, how do there is slides I find deeply concerning. How are students graded if they disagree?
Great question. How students are graded when they disagree. So you would not be graded whether you agree or disagree with the content. Some of the content there could be, it's meant to be around critical thinking. It's meant to be around, here, we will present some things, and then we want students to react to them. The way which you react to them is up to each and every individual student, and they should be engaging in that critical thinking around the content.
Angela, speak into the mic.
Yes.
Please, thank you.
Okay, so I guess my other question is, actually, that's a great answer, Dr. Turkey. But looking at the slides for the past month,
Yeah.
it does seem to be one-sided. Are we providing students multiple points of views and seeing whether they agree or do not agree? Based on what I saw, it only looks one-sided. Is that something, can we be honest here and say that there needs to be tweaks, or how are we going to provide more than one viewpoint?
Yeah. So then I think that comes back to, I think, the continued engagement with the community, right? Obviously dependent on which individual looks at those slides, you're going to get different reactions, right? Some folks are going to be like, yeah, that's really even. I agree with how that's presented. And other people will be, I think that's more one-sided, dependent upon your perspective. I do feel that we continue to engage with the community around that, and we make tweaks where we need to make tweaks.
I think an important part to add to Dr. Turkey is also the student voice to be heard, and as they're engaging in those conversations. So because they are at an age where they're expressing, we saw the number of responses from students and the kind of responses. So I do not want to lose that point as well.
And I'm just going to put something else in as well. It's interesting when adults talk, right? And then sometimes adults will be like, you know what? I don't feel very comfortable talking about race. For example, there are many adults who do not feel comfortable talking about race. And it's because the muscle hasn't been built to talk about race. If we can talk about race as kids in school, and we can build that muscle, so questions can be asked without shame, right? Perspectives can be shared without fear, then we can actually engage in those conversations about race rather than avoiding them and them being below the surface. I don't know if that answered your question or not. I may have just gone on a tangent.
Okay. Do you have anything further?
No, it's just, like I said, it's evolved so much since it was first brought over a year ago.
Mhm.
You know, I was under the impression this was mandated by the state of California, so we really didn't have a say. It was going to happen. So let's be honest here, we pushed it forward to get ahead of the curve. You know, follow state law. We did not expect it to be not funded, but we were told by, in previous assistant superintendent of ed, there's gonna be a lot more local history. There's gonna be a lot more cultural, this, and I have not seen that. How do we get more local history and more on our culture? Because I guess I'm naive with ethnic studies, because it's such a broad,
So broad.
I like to share, like, for example, I took ethnic studies at Hartnell. And it was one of the greatest classes I ever took. It was Polynesian Hawaiian music. And we learned about Maoris, Polynesian history, culture. We're all learning how to do the haka, the warrior culture.
Yeah.
It felt very enriching.
Yeah.
This program feels like we're not talking more. I feel like we've learned more about culture through some of our students' dance groups than I see in the slides. How do we add? Is that something we're going to try to work on to add more about our cultural backgrounds other than the wheels of power?
I think again, that's part of engaging with the community and why we think we should continue on with the Ethnic Studies Committee. We think it's a good idea to do so. And I just want to put in another thing. It's so difficult in a semester long course, to your point. You're always going to miss some things out just because that you only have so much time.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, how do we determine what the priority is?
Yeah.
Because if you only have a semester, there is some things that are being taught that it's a priority to the instructors and basically let's just call it, the kids are interested in this. We need to acknowledge they want it. But it's the adults making the decisions that what we want you to understand about this. So how do we prioritize what that's going to give the most enriching experience?
Yeah, agreed. I think to your point, the whole checks and balances thing, right? So you have the instructor okay, who makes most of those decisions, especially the day-to-day decisions, right? And then you have you've got the support for the instructor, which is given by UC Berkeley, and then you have the committee, who then also weighs in with, okay, this would be more useful, that would be more useful, that type of thing. But those.
I have a clarifying question, because I'm actually hoping that some of the boards can help me on this one about ethnic studies. LGBTQ, is that part of ethnic studies or is that not part of ethnic studies? I hear different answers from everybody.
That's a good question. It isn't part of our current curriculum, right? Could it be part of ethnic studies? I mean, I think it depends also on what's going on in the world, right? Student interest, and some of the discussions they come up dependent upon what's being discussed, but explicitly, is it part of our curriculum right now? It is not. I haven't seen it.
I would just add, I teach race and gender at California State Monterey Bay. And part of identity is multi-identity. So ethnic studies is teaching identity. You can add whatever identity you also believe as an individual to be part of it. But ethnic studies is more based on ethnicity, not necessarily the other identities that you can identify yourself with.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, are there any other clarifying questions? No? Okay, I'm going to open it up to public comment. And the first that I have on the list is Cece. Yes.
All right, you guys can hear me okay? So I'm Cece Kalinda. I'm a teacher here for tutorial at the high school, as well as a parent of now one high school student because the other just graduated. I am a community member. I live in Castroville, and I am also an ethnic studies committee member. So I feel pretty qualified to speak on many parts and maybe able to answer questions that you guys have, although I don't think that's part of public comment. I think this course is incredibly important. And in my teacher, with my teacher hat on, not only have I subbed in the class and seen amazing discussions and participation from students, but then as a tutorial teacher, I am also helping students on all of their assignments. And one thing that I want to point out is first, that the critical thinking that this course engages the students in is very important, especially in the age of AI, because for a lot of the things that they are writing about and discussing, there is no one right answer. And so they can't just like type in the computer, who am I? Right? What are my identities, and get some fluffy answer back. They actually have to think about things in this course and participate in discussions. And I think that is huge for our students to start strong in their critical thinking skills at the beginning of high school, because when we're talking about, college, career, and life ready, these are skills that they're going to have to depend on for the rest of their life, whether they're in an educational setting or not. The other thing that has been incorporated in the curriculum of this course are kind of like site-specific skills that we are working on as a high school. So for instance, like avid note-taking. Right? They are getting a deep dive into that in the course. And I think that that is important, as well as incorporating in text citations in their writing for the class. So in some ways, I know that it is frustrating that there's not just a curriculum in a box that we can adopt, but also it's allowed for the curriculum to be developed specifically for the skills that they're going to need to be successful and in our site and what we're working on in the site. I think that the learning about themselves is incredibly important because most of the students have not had an opportunity to really think about their various identities and the intersectionality that comes with that. And then also I want to give a voice to things that I have heard alumni from here say, and that is that this community is a bubble. And they have not experienced the diversity that then they experience if they go on to higher education or out in the community. And we want to prepare our students for doing well and have them exposed to all those different views and different cultures and people.
Thank you, Stacey.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll move on to our next public comment, which is Elena Perez. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. My name's Elena Perez. I am a former North County student and recently graduate from Hartnell College. I graduated in psychology, sociology, and Spanish, and I'm on my way to get an ethnic studies and Chicano degree there as well. When I was young, I chose to participate in Calmecac in a summer from Gambetta Middle School to North County. I was not required to be here. I came by choice. The program was taught by Manuel Versamin, and it wasn't a graduation requirement, but I went because I wanted to learn and I wanted to experience something different, something that was required. I wanted to go outside of that. Learning about culture, it's not about dividing people, and critical thinking is not emotional regulation. So if people feel uncomfortable or students feel uncomfortable, it's understandable, but it's about provoking critical thinking. I learned so much in Calmecac, where my family comes from, other people's families come from, and it helps me respect other people's stories. You know, the more I learned about my personal identity, the more I was able to relate to others, and I was open to hear more perspectives. Years later, when I took ethnic studies at Hartnell College, I realized that all those lessons that I learned in Calmecac stayed with me. And you guys are way ahead of the game, because a few weeks ago, I came back to North County to speak to Aguilas Guerreras, which is what you guys had proposed, right? Somebody coming in as a guest speaker to share their stories, come back and talk about Castroville, their roots. I talked to them about their feathers, about their Aguila Guerrera feathers, about their Condor feathers, and how they were just a small part of their story. And they were going to go on to get more feathers. And they already had came with some feathers from their culture. And that room, when I was there, those students came in during lunch. They didn't have to be there either. The room was packed. There were students standing. There was a student in a wheelchair. And in addition to that, we had three of your teachers there. They all wanted to be there. They all wanted to hear what I had to say. They all wanted to learn more about their culture and their roots here in Castroville. I told them that every color feather represented something that they were going to carry: their family, their language, their culture, their struggles, their dreams, and the dreams of their parents. Those things don't hold us back. They help me understand and help them understand who they are, and they could decide where they want to go, where they decide to spread their condor wings and go. I told them to show off their feathers, that they represented their journey and where they come from. There was a Stanford graduate study that found that students who participated in ethnic studies had better attendance, higher GPAs, and earned more credits towards graduation. I didn't need that research study to know. You know why? Because I'm living it. I lived it. I'm standing here today because people from North Monterey County High School invested in me. They taught me not to do the bare minimum and only give what was required of me. They taught me to come back and continue to give back. Today, I get to work with families in my community, and I hope the students that take ethnic studies here get to learn to do that one day too.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
public comment. Okay, we will be moving on to our third speaker, which is Ava Perez. Welcome, Ava.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, just making sure. As a student who has participated in this course, I've attended every single committee meeting. I've seen many of these faces before. They've all been here to support me. My teacher's been here to support me, and Antonio, he's been here to support the course and all of us in what we need to learn. This course is wonderful. It has taught all of us so much about ourselves, about others, how to treat people with. We never know what people are going to be going through. We never know what they went through. This teaches us about how their culture also affects it and just how it affects them in general. I know this course isn't perfect. There's flaws, but it's still a work in progress. And if we're cutting it short, then it's never going to grow. It's never going to get any better. We need to be able to truly get into it, to need to be able to bring more attention to it, get more shine more light on it, because as some of you have said. I've heard many points here. You may say that this course isn't a necessity. Now, I know that we need this to graduate from here, but it's not state required. Even if it was state required, or even if it wasn't, either way, this course is still important to so many students. It can teach us so many things. Like Cece said here, this place is like a bubble. We're so used to growing up around people who are like us, who look like us, sound like us, talk like us. But once we get out into the real world, there's gonna be other people and we'll never know what their story was. It'll be just a single story. You see one layer and that's it. You can't truly get into who they are, where they came from, all of that. So this course teaches us about how their ancestors lived, how other people lived, how they take their stories with them throughout their life, bring it with them into what they teach others, into what they learn for themselves, their own identities and everything. There are still, yes, it's like I've said, a work in progress. We need more. With the committee here, we've had so much help to bring more attention, to come to the board, bring up why we want this course. We've heard reasonings from almost people of entirely different backgrounds from everywhere. They still come, they show up to these meetings because they want to be there. I've learned so much, and I'm sure a lot of other people have learned a lot from this course, and it's still going to be teaching students. The other students need this stuff. They need to know this stuff in order to be fully prepared for what they're going to go through in the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ava, for your public comment. Okay, next is David.
At the December 2024 board meeting, when the district presented its plans for the ethnic studies course, they told you this would be something special. That, quote, a big part of ethnic studies is to focus on local history. That this course was, quote, not a general one for California, not even for the county, but something that is very specific to our communities in North Monterey County. That the course would be, quote, really localized so that when the kid finishes with this course, they have a deep sense and appreciation of what's been locally happening here with the different ethnicities and cultures in our area. Board members responded with enthusiasm. Trustee Martha said, quote, that you guys are really customizing it to local history. I think that is huge, and that's awesome. Where is this course? Where is this vision? And let's be clear, there's little local history in this course. Instead, we see a course promoting the political views of UC Berkeley History Social Science Project and the UC Santa Cruz History and Civics Project, one that teaches students to view themselves primarily as marginalized, centers the course around ideological frameworks such as the Wheel of Privilege and the Tree of Racism, and teaches that the only way forward is, to quote lyrics from one of the far too many music videos that the students watch, revolution is the solution. This is not what the board was promised. Was this course developed with transparency? At the 2024 meeting, Trustee Sandra requested that, quote, feedback be at the beginning of the process rather than when it's been formulated. The district claimed parents would be on the first committee. They were not allowed. The advisory committee then met 3 times last year, but were never shown this instructional materials, even though this was requested. Instead, the materials were posted only after its last meeting, so no substantive feedback could be given, ignoring Trustee Sandra's request. In 2024, Adriana warned, not just saying we're going to check off a box because we have to do something. Without the district showing the advisory committee the instructional material, that's all it was, checking a box, ignoring Trustee Adriana. From start to finish, this course was developed with a lack of transparency. Behavior disconcerting to say the least, coming from a district asking the community to support a bond. The board needs to hold the district accountable. Please vote no and direct the district to return with materials that focus on local history, where we came from, cultures and contributions, as you were promised. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for your public comment. Okay, our next public comment is Angel. Welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent Fat Turkey and members of the board. I've sit on several committees. We've interacted on multiple different levels. This is one of the committees, and I'll speak with a different hat on today as I rushed over here from training. But you know, one of the real reasons why I believe that as a parent and as a committee member, let me take this back. This is not about what to think, it's about how to think critically in the class, in the ecosystem they live in the community they live in. We're so focused on this whole localized history, but there's so much more than Castroville, Prunedale, Moss Landing, Salinas Valley, Monterey County. My kids, one who's a freshman incoming this year, I would want him to learn from this and his place in society and the privilege he has and what tools he can use to make his own decisions, to really make his own decisions based off the learnings from a course like this, from a course that will allow him to really understand his position in our community, empower his peers, and come back and give. I want to speak a little bit more in terms of like the local history aspect of it. There was an exercise in which, David, you participated in as well, okay? Both here upstairs and in the classroom, okay? You can be loud behind a keyboard, but when we're in the classroom, able to provide feedback for the group there, it's very silent, it's very quiet. And that is an opportunity we all have to voice our opinion. During that, there is an activity that happened in which we did simple, big, large Post-its across the room. And we asked, what local history do we have here? And I thought I knew my own backyard. It was an eye-opener. I work in agribusiness and agriculture, and they tend to the lands, and I learned the history through them. And through that, I was impressed with how much more history there was, not only here, but even how that has like you peel the layers of the onion, if you will, from there. That activity alone was impactful. We all had the opportunity to participate. Participating in multiple different activities throughout this series. One time, Ms. Barrera was asked about a certain item in the curriculum, and she pointed, boom, right away. Here it is. She brought a binder this thick. 10 seconds left. I want to answer or mention to DeMarco. You mentioned that the slides you looked at for the last month, the committee has looked at for the last year. Okay. You want to take a month? We took the last year and they were there. Plenty of times for you guys to take a look at them. The other thing I want to add and finish with this is the mechanics, the process, the transparency, participation of the committee compared to others I sit on is superb, diverse, educated, bright, multiple different backgrounds. Feedback is given, and I encourage y'all to join us on this journey in knowledge share. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel, for your public comment. Is there any public comment on Zoom? No? Okay. I am closing public comment. Oh, there is. Okay, then please proceed with your public comment on agenda item adoption of district developed ethnic studies course and curriculum, please. Q2.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Guillermo Hernandez, and I'm here tonight simply as a constituent, proud product of the North Monterey County Unified School District, former student. I know there's strong opinions on both sides of this issue. I'm not here to argue with anyone. I'm here because I lived the experience of being a student in this district. Today, I had the privilege of serving in the California State Legislature. Every day, I work with people who think differently than I do, who come from different backgrounds than I do, and who have lived different lives than I have. And one thing I've learned is this: no one has ever failed in life because they learned too much about their neighbors, but plenty of people have because they never took the time to understand them. And that's what ethnic studies is about. North Monterey County gave me the foundation to be here where I am today, and I'm proud to say that. But if there's one thing I wish I had more as a student, is the opportunity to better understand the stories of the people sitting beside me in class and maybe in my own. Education isn't just about preparing students. It's about preparing them for life. I hope you'll support this course. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comment on this agenda item on Zoom? No? Okay, seeing none, I am closing public comment. And this is on our agenda.
I move to adopt.
You're making a motion?
Yep. I
Okay.
move to adopt.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, now we are going to open it up for discussion. Who would like to start the discussion? Angela? Okay.
Well, first, I think it's only fair that I address issues here. I appreciate everybody's involvement here, those who did involve, and I want to share some facts because I don't think everybody knows all the information behind the scenes. I envy everybody that's had an opportunity to look at the curriculum for a year. Reality, the board has only been provided this for a month. It would have been nice to have more input, or at least more knowing what's going on, but reality is it was provided at the last workshop, the final update. So, but I do, like I said, I'm very envious of everybody else who had a chance to work on it longer and have looks into it. I do applaud and appreciate your commitment to it. But issues I'm having here is, I think the message is being hijacked. This is not voting or disagreeing with ethnic studies. I personally believe in ethnic studies. It's the process and what is and how it's being done. Through the last year, this was supposed to be a pilot program. I've not seen a pilot evaluation. Some of the questions that Trustee Chevrier was asking, we had no answers regarding attendance, teacher reflections, more advisory committee feedbacks, more parent community feedbacks, and what the plan is for the next year. Looking at the documents that they provided here, there's still timelines that is listed as TBD, to be determined. After a pilot program, you would think that we would have a little bit more concrete timelines or just more information, because this is stepping out of the pilot program into accepted course curriculum. Reality is we need more talks about it. This course is heavily framed around an interpretive lens: power, privilege, hegemony, coloniality, oppression, resistance, and counter narratives. He tried to put guardrails here to follow the California Ethnic Studies model curriculum. And I feel like the guardrails that the board tried to put in place were not followed. We got to ask ourselves too, the most common complaint that I've received from my constituents and people is they felt that they were unaware of the Ethnic Studies Committee meetings and being a part of it. I think that we failed here on how to do this. We didn't follow, like I said, we didn't follow the stuff that the board was asking of the district. This is an opportunity for us to this year. I would hope that this board would push to continue this as a pilot program where we can open up more involvement, as we saw recently, because we got more emails over the past month when this curriculum became public knowledge instead of privately run by a few individuals with agendas. I think we should open it up more to more public involvement. Like I said, this shows there's a correlation here, how we handle this and how we always keep changing. Every time it's been brought to us, where it went from local history to we're working on it, we're following this, we're trying to choose different people. I just want to see that the district is going to have more stakeholders instead of having them just being consumers.
Agreed. And I'm thinking about, and I'm hearing you in terms of, was the committee run perfectly, like throughout the last year? No, I don't think so. Could there have been more transparency? Perhaps there could have been more transparency, right? And in terms of moving forward, I mean, we are here right now, right? Whatever bells we can't unring, okay? And I think the question in front of the board now is, do you want this as a pilot program? Do you want it as a permanent class? I would say that the continued transparency around the course and the continued development of the course isn't contingent on either of those things. So
that's kind of what's hoping that the public would know. It's not stopping ethics studies from being taught. It's just more following the proper policies and procedures of how we wanted to set it up with appropriate guardrails in place.
And it's interesting because I think those guardrails are still there. I think those guardrails are still there. I think your point around transparency and could have that happened sooner? Yes, it could have happened sooner, but here we are right now. And it's been transparent for, I think your point, since that special board meeting on June, whatever the date was in June, let's call it a month.
June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yes, kind of like I said, and agree. Because there was kind of hiccups. We were asking for a lot of that transparency like in January.
Agreed.
And in October. Because I remember we set a deadline in October to get a first round. Then there was supposed to be another information provided in January. Due to just personnel issues, it just kept getting pushed back all the way till June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yeah, so right at the end of the year with this urgency that was caused by by personnel, not by material. So
yep. And as I say, I think we can continue to look at the course. We can continue to have that back and forth, and we can do it better. I don't see why not.
yeah, again, I'm hoping my thing too is asking, I don't think we should take ethnic studies away, but we should really ask ourselves if the state's not going to fund it, would it be better served where we can make it as an elective so that every student that's interested has the opportunity to take this class? Or is this where we're going to force everybody, whether they want to or not, to take it?
And that, of course, is a board decision in terms of the graduation requirements.
Yeah, I mean.
Can I?
Yeah, it goes to you.
Sure, let me make my comment.
Okay.
I do feel like when we made a decision, we weren't given the full picture. I do support ethnic studies, but I'm not sure what value is gained by making it mandatory. I do know that certainly want students to have the opportunity to seek the courses that they find most interesting. And I know that our students have the opportunity to take courses at Hartnell and MPC. Both my sons have taken courses, on ethnic studies. So it makes me feel a little uncomfortable that when we did make the decision, we were making the decision on not the most accurate information, or the information has changed. So that concerns me a little bit. The second is when I do look at the curriculum, I would like to see it be more balanced. I think it is nice to have those thought-provoking ideas, stuff that's more sensationalized, like, the tree of racism and the wheel of power, but then also bring in immigration patterns, the influence of different cultures on, the local area. I mean, there's so much to choose from. I don't think we handled it correctly because parent involvement did not happen after that February meeting. But like you said, it's in the past. So what do we do now? Where's that medium? Where's that balanced curriculum? I don't know how the board feels. I don't know how the community feels. I know some definitely support it, but must it be mandatory? What are the impacts when it's mandatory? Could it semester enough? What if there were 2 semesters where students could really deep dive? Anyway, those are the things I would like everybody to consider. And so, yes, go ahead, Martha. And then Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to start by the student or can I go or?
Yeah, I was just looking at her in case she did want to
Did you want
participate
to
in the discussion. I
participate in
want
the
her to know
discussion?
that she can, not to put any pressure on her, but if, yeah.
And then I'll go after you.
Or you can think about it while Martha, yeah, would
Okay.
that be good?
All
Give you a couple minutes.
So first I want to start by, our core values. We talked about, I think you mentioned it earlier about getting college, career, and life ready, right? So why do we have A through G courses? So they could be college, career,
Point of
and
order.
life ready.
I don't mean to step out. I just have to go to the restroom, but
Then I'm gonna wait
I
till
don't
you
want
get back.
anyone to
Just
think
kidding.
I'm trying to dodge.
And so, and I remember when this came in front of the board, yeah, there was some concerns about the curriculum. There was concerns about the process. And then there was an amendment made to have these advisory committees. And we have how many advisory committees? We have the athletic advisory committee. We have the budget committee meeting. We have, I don't know, we have so many. And they are very transparent. I think they all are publicized through social media. But this one, you guys even took an extra step. Why? Because you guys had 3 or 4 throughout the year. That opportunity was, that recommendation was made by a board member that they wanted to have this community, this advisory committee and community input. And I went to 2 of them. And the very first one that I went to, yeah, it was in the very first committee. And I was so impressed with the curriculum. All the information was in a binder of the assignments and the feedback and the critical thinking. I mean, it was so robust. But my most memorable, which I did come back and share at a board meeting and gave a report back, the student voices. I think there was 12 students there of how much they were impacted and learning and so excited and what they shared of what they just that very first, it's one course, 2 semesters. And so she's having to jam pack it and be creative. So I saw the curriculum was a little bit of everything from local to how it connects, like they mentioned earlier, in the real world. So, you're having to be I've never seen a curriculum so just really, I mean, it was thick. It was a thick binder. She took so much time in putting this together and she had consultants to help her, but there was an amendment saying, no, she doesn't need, we're not going to pay for a consultant. You got to do this on your own. So then that was a challenge, right? A tool that was taken away from her to be even more successful to provide a more robust curriculum. So when I went to this meeting and I saw the parents that were there, I was the only board member there and I gave feedback. So when we say if it was available, it was made available in many occasions. It was made available at the committee meetings. I remember she even had a table at the open house. And I went to the table and she was so excited. Look at the binder. Look at everything I have. I go, oh, wow. So this is available for all the parents, anybody that comes through here. She goes, yeah, I have a table, ethnic studies. And so again, I saw more emphasis. Why? Because of the way it was being challenged, that she went above and beyond and trying to share everything that she was doing. And I came back so touched, and because why are we here? We're here for student achievement. We're here to impact the student voices, and those student voices that I heard back from that committee and throughout the year was so powerful. That presentation, that was a recommendation to do a board presentation, even though I said, okay, well, we had the opportunity throughout the year, but yeah, let's take a deeper dive. Let's have more discussion. And I think we had parents and students there, again, emphasizing the importance and how impressed they were with this whole pilot. Yes, could there be improvement? Yeah, why not? Because that's what we do. We improve continuous improvements in everything we do, right? But let's move forward. We know it's a need. I mean, proof studies show that this is, like someone mentioned earlier, Stanford's, study shows that these are proven results, data of how it improves people academically and obviously in attendance wise, it improves so many different aspects of it. Facts are there. So, when I think about all of the letters that we got, all the people speaking, how important it is. I remember our previous board member who spoke about it said she wishes it would have been available when she was in 9th grade. And now I'm hearing more and more parents how important it is that they're so happy North County's having this available for their students, because we are living in a very diverse, challenging world. And we have to stay on top of it. We have to stay in front of it, and we have to prepare our students. And this is a safe space that she's allowing them to be empowered, identify who they are, to be prepared for life. And I just, as you can see, I'm very passionate about it. I have always been very passionate about it. I've been speaking around about it. I've been, getting the education. If I have a question about it, if I'm concerned about it, I'm going to go find the answer. I'm not going to wait for a board report. I'm going to go find the answer. So I think that we need to continue to move forward. The year, we're already starting the year. It's already planned out. Let's not go backward. Let's continue to be supportive. We're here to support our teachers. We're here to support our kids. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So let's get involved and let's, continue to support her, get her the tools and the support that she needs. And if there's more concerns or recommendations, let's just get involved. So that's where I stand.
Thank you, Martha. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'll start with saying that for me, it doesn't matter if the state requires it or not. I think this course is and should be a requirement in our high school. I did not vote to have this class as a requirement because of the state or because there was good potential funding coming. I voted because I think that that's what the right thing to do for our students and for our community is. So even if the state doesn't have funding, and it's not required, I still think that it should be a requirement for our district and our community. We just had the 25th year Calmecac reunion this summer, and we had all these students who came and talked about how important it was for them to learn during the summer about who they are, where they're coming from, so that they can understand where they're going, and to be truly knowledgeable of why certain things are a certain way. Sometimes when I hear comments about saying because of this, because of that, there was no involvement, all this, sometimes I feel it's excuses in all honesty. I'm a pretty frank person. I feel are excuses of just saying this class should not be taught because of the content that it really brings into the table. I feel ethnic studies and certain other topics are evolving topics, which means that there is no set curriculum, no set in stone kind of lecture or things, that it continues to evolve as we continue to learn, as we continue to deprogram our brains, as we continue to understand each other, as we continue to respect each other. So yes, can it improve? Of course, and it will continue to improve. And I'm hoping that the district continues to look at it, not as a set curriculum, but as a curriculum that they continue to look at on a yearly basis, to continue to involve all stakeholders and continue to make sure that it continues to evolve to meet the needs of our current students and communities, not about past or present, but our current students and community. I believe that local history is really important, but we do live in a bubble. Our students do live in a bubble. I have 2 students who left this community. One student graduated not this May, last May, and the first course she took at San Diego State was ethnic studies. And she had students from other high schools tell her, oh, I already took this course or this class at my high school. And she looked and she came back to me and said, why is our high school not teaching this? It helped me understand who I am, and it would have helped me better prepared to when I got to college, understand the culture crash that I had to deal with, that I had to understand that there's others beyond myself. And it was really important for me to hear that. She said, I hope that you all make this something that we future students can learn, so that when they get to those spaces, they are better prepared to understand where they're interacting. I also had another child who left and said the same thing, that he wishes he could have learned and understand more about his, and this is conversations that I have at home on a daily basis. So imagine those students that don't have those opportunities to have those conversations at home. My kids have a conversation about this on a daily basis, but they said, I wish I could have understand more so that when I get to other spaces of the world, it's better for me to navigate those spaces. And yes, local is important, but our kids are not going to all stay local. And even if they stay local and they come back to local, the world, how the world functions and how the exterior of outside of Castroville and outside of this Monterey County impacts drastically also the local. So they need to understand how they fit locally and also how they fit globally. And I think that the course needs to be able to have that flexibility, that they actually learn local and they also learn global, because we're not just this community. I don't believe it should be an elective. I believe that it should be a require that every student takes it. I think that the sooner you understand your identity and the sooner you understand certain parts of history, certain conversations, the sooner you have those challenging, let's call them challenging conversations sometimes, the better you will be equipped to have healthier conversations as adults in the future. If we truly don't teach our kids to be able to listen to a different perspective, to listen to a different identity, to listen to a different culture, then they're not going to be prepared to, as adults, to have a healthier conversation and agree to disagree in certain things. And also they're not going to learn to respect others for who they are, not for who they want them to be. So I truly believe that right now, in reality, I got more emails supporting this, supporting the curriculum, supporting the class, than emails opposing. Most of the emails that I got about opposing was about funding, was about it's not required. But again, our board had already, even if it was misunderstood or brought to our board, I would have still, regardless, voted for this to be part of a requirement for our students, not because of the state. But the majority of the emails that I got and comments is been of support, and also based on conversations that I've had with alumni, with current students, with staff, with people who have gone through our district, who have gone through programs that did provide them this information early on. It helped them truly navigate the world. It helped them prepare for life in a way that other students say, I wish I could have taken this. At our reunion, we did have some family members who were listening of testimony of those who were part of these summer programs that actually were kind of like teaching ethnic studies. And they were saying, I didn't have this program in my high school when I was growing up, but I wish I could have, because it sounds like you truly build character in each one of you to truly be able to tackle the world. So for me, there's no question but to just continue to involve as much as possible everyone. Having more than 200 students provide feedback, that should tell you a lot. That should really tell you students are giving you feedback. And yes, we can construct the questions a certain way, everything, but just the eagerness to provide the feedback should tell you a lot from our students, because sometimes our students they think that we don't listen, and they don't provide the feedback. And so I just encourage that the district continues to look at it as an evolving course, that it's going to continue to evolve, and it should evolve and continue to improve and continue to look at it with the eyes of curiosity, instead of thinking that we shouldn't be talking about these topics. Regardless if we talk about them here and we provide that safe space for our students to talk about it, they're still living it on a daily basis. They're gonna have to go somewhere and talk about who they are, how they're coming to be. Why are we not providing that safe space to be able to build that healthy dialogue with continuing to check on how we continue to make it better on a daily basis. I'm in full support of ethnic studies. I will continue to support ethnic studies. And I hope that those who have questions about it continue to ask the questions of the district and come to all the opportunities. And if there's not an opportunity, provide those questions, then ask for one. Ask for a meeting, ask for a committee, ask for that, and that the district takes it serious that people want to be involved and provide more opportunities to be involved in this topic, because it is a hot topic. It is a topic that people feel strongly about in both, in any way, right? It's just a strong topic. So let's give them the opportunity to provide the safe space to have healthier dialogues about how it should look in within our district and for our students. But with that, always keeping in mind that at the end of the day, it's for our students. It's not for none of us. It's not for adults. It's for our students. Listen to what they want, what they need, what is building them, and what is truly preparing them for life and college and career readiness. Thank you.
Thanks, Adriana. Rick, do you have any comments?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I came in today surprisingly not knowing what to do. I'm reading not only, emails, talking, giving my time to, anyone that wants to talk about it, then also reading, what people say in social media. I wasn't on the committee, or else I'd probably be there at, every meeting. And the people that are on social media, they weren't, most weren't at the meetings and stuff like that. I personally, love our history. I wish I would have had ethnic studies. And I even, people, anyone that knows me knows and follows my blogs and, just knows how much I advocate just forever, to the point where I have people looking up to me sometimes, or I was asked to be a guest speaker, and I sat in on a whole day of classes, all the periods, because they wanted to know about how I got to the point where I am, and some of it I don't remember. I think I did talk about it, but the pipeline from prison, it was no secret, and some public speaker brought it up a while back, thinking it's a surprise to anyone. But I've been to prison, straight up crazy psycho prison, and I'm the success story of coming out, because I didn't reoffend. It's been a long time, since over 20 years since that. There is things that I don't like in there. Are we being human centered the whole time during the curriculum? Because I don't want anyone to be hurt by it. I love all my community, not just the Brown, but every person in my community. I grew up here, and I love everyone in it. And also, I am known to vote for what my community wants. What I did see in the classes, at that age, I said it before at the other meetings we talked about it. I didn't like it at the 9th grade level. I sat in. I didn't see what was kind of described as super engaged. I saw when they were asked questions, like they didn't want to answer, or like, I don't want to make any noises or faces, but just kind of like, kind of things, or you're calling on me type of thing. So there was like less engagement, just kind of they're at the age, maybe they don't want to, speak out and have a spotlight on themselves or whatever. But yeah, and some of the stuff, I don't want people to, their graves to be, stomped on and stuff like that. But how, my question is, because like I said at the start, I came in not knowing truly what to do. But like I said, I'll reiterate is that, I vote for my community. My question is how would we move forward if it got passed today? Because the trust isn't there, especially with me, a trustee. I don't trust leadership to start to fulfill a promise or fulfill a promise to do what everyone's asking of how do we tweak it? How do we change as we go? So I mean, I'm not done yet, but what would that look like?
What that would look like is we would continue on with the committee. So I'll just say, first of all, what the board is voting on isn't whether this is a graduation requirement or not. It's just whether it's the course itself and the course materials, right? So we would continue on with the committee. First of all, we take the feedback. The main feedback was generally positive, but it needs a few tweaks. A few tweaks, things like including other ethnicities and transparency to the community, okay? And making sure that it's rigorous. So essentially, we'd be working with the teacher so that she includes those things. After the first semester, right, of including those things, then we'd be engaging with the committee again to see, hey, how did that go? Let's go through another round of feedback. Because it's almost like this one which we've just done has been a round of feedback. And to Mr. DeMarco's point, I think the feedback, just be honest, it probably came late, right? It makes sense because it's a semester-long course to do it on a semesterly basis. So we get the feedback, we've just gotten the feedback. You put the feedback into place over the next course, over the next semester. You bring the committee back at the end of that semester and you redo the surveys. What do the students think about it? What do the committee members think about the new course materials? Because they would have gotten updated. And you do another round of feedback. Then the feedback which you get, you put into place for then semester 2. And then you do the same thing, right? You do another round of feedback at the end of it. So I see a feedback loop at the end of each semester.
So the surveys, are they specific to, like, say, or is it open-ended where they can say, hey, I don't like the Arab, targeting from after 9/11? Can they say that, or is that an option?
I believe that there's some open-ended questions. There's some
And
which are closed.
any tweaking would have to take after a semester?
I mean, that makes sense
Yeah.
to me because
You know better than me.
I mean, just because it's a semester-long course, and so you get the feedback, you change what needs to be changed for the course for that semester, and then you come back again. That seems to make the most sense to me. Because I think if you're making, it's difficult to do in the middle when it's still being taught.
And who's on this committee, Martha and who?
No, I'm part of the committee. I just, because I
Okay.
wanted to learn about it.
Isn't it 2 trustees?
So on this committee, I don't
Myself.
believe there were any board members on the.
But I thought
on-
we appoint each other and say,
It
This
wasn't.
isn't one of them.
oh, it wasn't one.
It wasn't
Oh,
one.
okay, I see.
So, I mean, board members could come if they wanted.
So I could have went. Maybe I thought maybe there was 2 already. Actually I did. I thought maybe it was Martha and someone else. Okay. Yeah. And what else did I have? Yeah, I just want to reiterate that, some of the, like Trustee DeMarco said, some of the stuff that you see, and that's what I see, from the people I talk to that were not for it, is some of the things that are on there, just don't agree with that. Like I said, but that's not all of it. That's just a small percentage for me. You know, I did get way more emails and talks with people for it. But like I said, they probably didn't read the curriculum. I'm guessing, I'm just taking an educated guess. Not all of them, because I know some of them are here. For sure. So I'm curious. Well, I guess everyone kind of thought and said what they were leaning towards. So I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Jasmine, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're in luck because the very first thing you get to comment on is a completely non-controversial issue. So just as a reminder, Jasmine, you say whatever you want, whatever your opinions are, it is all good. Okay.
I think that this course could be really valuable for people, especially for students who are planning to leave the like local area and go to college like in different areas, because I know that our community is the majority of the people are Hispanic, but say like for example, in Cal Poly, it might come as a cultural shock to be like, oh, and some people just might be a little bit feel maybe a little like an outsider, I guess, which that shouldn't be the case. And I think if we can provide students with the understanding that there's like ethnicities, you know, there's a whole bunch of diversity, especially in different areas. Like if you could go to the Bay and there's like there's a whole lot of different ethnic backgrounds and stuff. And to be able to just give students a different perspective, I think is important. And I think it would set up students to have more success as well. And yeah, and I'm not sure about how exactly the course was presented. And I didn't take it because I'm going to be a senior, so I was not part of that pilot class. And so I'm not sure exactly how it was presented to you guys. And if it was supposed to be a more local thing and it didn't turn out like that, or if it was supposed to be a more broad kind of course. And I'm not sure exactly what was taught in it either, but it seems like there's people who have different opinions on it. And I do have a question though. If it is not approved, or it's going to be approved as a course, but not necessarily as a graduation requirement.
It's already a graduation
It
requirement.
is a graduation.
We would need to change the policy.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But currently it is a graduation requirement. Yes. This is about adopting the curriculum and the course.
And would that be the same thing as last year?
I
Like
think
the-
so. Slightly changed
Slightly
based on the feedback of the committee. At least that's what we're hearing. Yes.
Okay, I think that's
Okay. Sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to encourage any of the trustees or parents to sit in on a few classes one of the days or a couple of the days, and see the reactions and see what is being taught. And that's it.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, any final comments before we move to a vote? Okay, so the motion is to approve adoption of district developed ethnic studies course and curriculum. I'm going to start with the preferential vote. That'll be you.
Motion to amend.
Okay, can we do that?
No, because you already have a board. So maybe you need a point of order this.
So
Okay.
in terms of an amendment, you could make an amendment to the motion on the floor. It would need to be seconded. If it's seconded, then it could be discussed.
Just want to throw a motion to amend to continue this as a pilot program. Dr. Turkey gave some great ideas of how he would set up the guardrails in place. how you would evaluate for the summer, not summer, for each semester. So I'd motion that we continue this as a pilot program with the district showing how they're going to evaluate each semester. And also in consideration, over the past month, the entire board has received a lot of emails about this. For the past year and a half, we now see there's a large group of people in the community that want to be a part of this. I think we should continue this as a pilot and let them be a part of it before a full curriculum is adopted.
Okay, is that your motion?
Mhm.
Okay, is there a second?
So that would mean
It will still continue when school starts.
it'll continue, it's not going
The
away.
way everything that's been presented, it will still be taught.
Can I clarify though?
Oh,
Because,
let's let this finish.
okay,
Of course, you're gonna get your, your say. So right now you have made a motion.
Motions, you continue
That
teaching
would
it the
be
way it
like
is.
saying no to this.
So,
What was that?
Okay, let's finish the motion, then we'll have discussion.
okay.
Right? Is this right?
I'm looking at it. So
Okay.
point of order. So I'm looking at our rules right now.
Okay.
So the basic motion puts forward a decision for the body's consideration. The motion to amend can amend the basic motion, right? However, I'm not sure that this is an amendment because it sounds like a change.
That's what amendment
Well, there's a
is.
substitute motion, seeks to completely replace the basic motion with a new different motion.
Correct.
Subject to discussion and debate, voted on before the motion it
But-
replaces.
but that
Correct.
voted
Yeah.
on before the motion.
Yeah,
That's why.
so that's why he's motioned now, and then we'll vote on if it's seconded, we'll vote on that one first. And then if it fails, we revert back to the original motion. That's what I'm
The
reading.
motion, a motion's not a vote, right? So if
No.
if I second it, we could discuss it
You
and
can
it's
still
not a
vote
vote.
no. It's
Okay,
just
okay,
seconding his motion.
Yeah,
But
I second it, just for we could discuss it.
and as I read it, those are within the rules of order. Is that the way you're reading it?
I think whether it's a motion to amend or whether it's a substitute motion, you can still do that.
I would consider it a substitute motion. And
would-
it
I
looks
would-
like it's
I
an
would
option.
agree.
It looks like it's an option. Okay.
Clarity. If this does not go, or
Then
this
it
motion,
refers to the
hold
first
on,
one.
let me ask my question.
Yes, go ahead.
If this is not approved, this motion as it is not approved, then what happens to the course? It continues as a pilot program?
If it was just a flat no, it would not continue as a pilot program and we would have a real issue because kids would be taking a course which is not approved by the board. That would be an issue.
What would happen then?
Well, can we have
Um,
discussion? That's discussion, is it not? Yeah, okay. So it was seconded. Okay, so now I invite discussion. Your motion is to make this, to continue, to extend the pilot program. Is that what it was? That's what I heard.
That's what I want to discuss. I want to continue it with the pilot program like we did last year, but do the stuff that the board originally asked. I'd like to see you, Dr. Tree, you gave some great ideas of how you would develop this feedback loop.
Mhm.
Basically, I would like to see that feedback loop and attached with ethnic studies. So when we vote for the coursework, we see, well, instead of just always basing it on like faith that we're going to do this, I would like to see what the plan that you came up with to be attached to the curriculum. Also want to give the opportunity because we had more parents and community members reach out to us this month. We're seeing that there is a greater desire of community involvement. I would like to give that opportunity instead of saying, oh, first come, first serve, you don't get to be a part of it anymore. It is what it is. The course finally became fully public on June 2nd. So now, right after it became public, we started seeing people be interested. So.
Understood.
So you need a point of order that.
Okay, I'm
Need-
sorry,
that-
please, no comments from the audience unless we invite public comment, which we will after we go through. No,
We've
no
already
public
had it.
comment.
So
Okay,
we're
we've had
now
public-
in discussion. of
Another
his
motion.
amendment, correct?
Yes,
But
we're in
okay.
discussion of his amendment.
We're in discussion of his amendment, and if I can hear you correctly, you want to amend to continue with the pilot program for your reason behind that, so you can get more public comment or transparency or community input on the curriculum. But yet, we heard today and we've been hearing it throughout this, that this is going to be continuing evolving. The curriculum is constantly going to be evolving based
Correct.
off community input. We've already decided that there's going to be community input throughout the year for those that are interested in the curriculum.
Correct.
Now, all of those people that sent letters, it was because they were approving to approve and adopt. They weren't not sending us emails saying they wanted to be part of the curriculum and change the curriculum, and they weren't happy with the curriculum. A majority of those emails were saying that they approve us adopting this, that they hope and pray that we move this forward. So the question here, the amendment, is the fact that we want to continue with the pilot, and the fact that for making sure there's more transparency, but we already agreed.
You're assuming my intent. That was not what I said. I was adding that, saying that now that I see there's more, would like for them to be a part of it more. But we had a pilot program. There was supposed to be a pilot evaluation program with metrics being provided to us. Unfortunately, due to no fault of anybody sitting here, it was not provided. I would like to continue the program to see, and also to see your recommendation of how you, basically, I want to see it in writing how you're going to evolve it instead of just us going on faith. Because in the past 3 years on this board, through 3 superintendents, we've had a lot of promises and verbally.
Let's talk about this though.
This is why I'm trying to give my reason. I would like to see in writing how you're going to do the semester feedback loop.
Okay, so let me finish my discussion. So regarding the amendment, it is basically a request because they want to have more community input, the reason, for the curriculum. We said that's going to continue, correct?
Correct.
And it is open to anyone. We clarified that it is open to anyone, and anyone that's hearing this. All of our meetings are live stream. People can go back on YouTube. They can hear the discussions.
The committee meetings wouldn't be live streamed.
No, I'm
typically.
talking about what we're talking about today for those people, individuals that want to hear more, be involved.
Yes.
The opportunity's there. It's been there all year.
Mhm. So, I mean, my thought about this, right, is if this was any other course,
Correct.
let's say it was a physics course, right, there would be a process, and then the public would get to view the materials for 30 days.
And there would also be a standard curriculum,
And there would be a
which
standard.
clearly there isn't, right? There's about, when we
Agreed.
looked at the state of California website, there was so many different modules. I mean, I'm going to say
Agreed.
hundreds that you could choose from and cobble this course together. I think the course material is clearly very meaningful, and maybe it does seem like an overthinking of what students will be exposed to, but it's different than a physics class.
I don't know what the point of putting it into pilot status is. Because what that essentially does is it says, okay, in a year we have to come back and ask for it to be approved again. Right.
Sure, Rick, you'll be next.
And that's that's what that point is. I'm not sure what the point is, because I mean, we'll continue to develop the course. That would just be an ongoing thing. So that's my thought.
That was my
Thank you.
question. What's the
Okay, Rick.
difference between if it was gonna continue as a pilot and it's gonna go through the whole school year, and if we just adopted it and it went through the whole school year and we still had committee meetings?
Yeah, will there be a negative impact on students by delaying it? I mean, they're still it's
No.
still a mandatory course.
What would happen is the difference would be is that we'd be here a year from now doing the same thing.
But it would not impact the students negatively.
No,
Because they're still going to be in the course. It's still going to be.
as long as it's approved either as a pilot or as a regular course, it would not impact the students.
And I wonder if in a year that we're here again, there's going to be more about process and procedure and not really have the conversation that is it really about the process and procedure, or is it about the class in general as a hot topic class, right? Because I agree, like if it was any other course, history, are we always looking at evolving with the things that are evolving for evolving our curriculums, even if it's standard? There's always a good teacher, a good instructor will always review curriculum. Even if it's like a standard curriculum, will review curriculum to update and bring in and improve. Just like any other course, that should be the same for this, even if it's already a curriculum, that should be the standard, that you look at it, that you improve that. And you've said there's going to be opportunities for continuing feedback, continuing providing that. So making it a pilot and not a curriculum is you're still going to do the things.
How do you know? So can I add to my discussion here?
Of course, we're having a
Yeah,
discussion.
I like the idea of talking about physics, or let's just talk about math, because we approved a math curriculum recently.
Yes.
After we approved that curriculum, what are the changes that are going to be taught to that curriculum in math? From my understanding, we're going to keep that curriculum unchanged for how many years?
So the curriculum materials would generally be there for about 6 years. However, it's the kind of like, let's talk math, right? The implementation of those and how they're taught is going to continue to develop year on year on year.
Yeah, but we have I'm going to just use the high school. We have the CPM.
Mm-hmm.
We can say all that stuff, but we agreed we're teaching out of the CPM. We have our teachers' editions from the CPM, and there's little caveats that you can change year after year, but no, we have math standards and we're teaching out of the CPM for 7 years. So my question is, not the course, we're talking about the curriculum being presented today. If we approve that curriculum today, basically, how long can that curriculum go unchanged before we discuss that curriculum again? I mean, you might say we're going to meet it, but things can change. I'm going to use the math and physics things. How long can we go without even looking at the curriculum again to discuss what's on it?
How long could you go? You could go as long as the board wanted to go.
What would it be? Is there like a standard time limit, or
So, I mean, generally curriculum gets updated about every 6 years is the general time limit on these
The
things.
best case scenario. Our
Yeah.
math curriculum was almost a decade old, wasn't it?
Yes, really old,
Okay.
but it should be around
Yeah,
every
can
6
happen.
years.
So basically, we would relook. I'm glad that you're saying that we're going to relook at it, but if we approve it, reality is we can go another 6 years without looking at it.
Well, what we would do is we would continue going through those feedback loops each semester.
But we don't have to, though, right?
I mean,
I agree that I know, I think you know where I'm going with this. I agree it's a smart move, and that's why I was hoping to keep it as a pilot to get that in writing. But reality is, if we're a district that we just want to approve the curriculum, we're not required to revisit semesterly.
agreed. If it's a pilot class, you're not required to revisit
I mean,
semesterly either.
correction, if we approve the coursework, we do not have to revisit that coursework after it's been approved
Correct.
for an undetermined amount of time.
Correct.
So, but as board members, and if you will listen to community and if you listen to everyone, if there's concerns throughout the year, you can bring it up and you can ask for revision, and you can, and it's not like if it's up to Matt or up to the superintendent or to any of the staff. As a board member, you and the president, you have the right to put it in the agenda to revisit the curriculum. So it's also not necessarily that it could be sitting for 6 years. If you're really concerned about it, next semester you can say, I want it to be back in the agenda. And that could be the case, right? It's also on us to be able to bring stuff up and be like, we want this on the agenda for revision. Anything, not just this class, but anything.
That's a great point you make, Mr. Ramirez. Can you clarify on that? Because I'm basing it off the math curriculum. We get a curriculum by contract, because we bought a book from somebody, we're by contractually obligated to keep them, right? For a certain amount of time.
We're not contractually obligated to keep it, but what we are in a
anti-CPM for the past 3 years.
We've paid for it, right? So generally they're for 6, 7 years, right? So you pay for it for that amount of time. And if we want to make the most of our money, we don't want to drop it after 3 years if you've paid for 6. You could drop it after 3 years, but you're still paying for the next 3.
So you are contractually obligated.
You're contractually obligated to pay for it. You're not
Right.
contractually obligated to use it.
Yes, but it's still going to cost you, yes.
It's still going to cost you.
So just to recap, if this is approved and the trust factor of making sure that committees and input is going to continue, that could be adopted as an approved curriculum with those regulations,
Correct.
right?
I was just gonna add, typical pilots or anywhere for curriculum of any content area would be 3 to 6 months, because that's a good amount of time to gauge students' feedback, teacher feedback. When we do curriculum adoptions, across the district, it's anywhere from 6 to 8 years. This typical guidelines the CDE gives, that's a good curriculum cycle. Then we change curriculums. Otherwise, districts and publishers would want us to, change curriculums every 3 years because it's money for them. So these are the cycles that are typical for curriculum adoption.
Thank you, Swati.
And
Okay,
it's not costing us money because we're not buying any book right now that will be contracted for 6 years.
Correct.
So at any point, we can bring it back again and be like, let's revisit.
As the board would want, yes.
okay, so is there any further discussion? Because right now we have this current motion and I'll let you repeat it.
I want to continue. My motion to amend was to continue this in the pilot program
Mhm.
with basically an admin regulation in place or some type of basically in writing what Dr. Turkey said he's going to do to help build this trust level of this feedback loop every semester.
Okay, so continue.
May I
pilot
ask a
program.
clarifying question?
Yeah.
How long would it be in
Yeah, I
pilot
was wondering that,
process?
yeah.
So I'd be down, I'd be okay to revisit it in the end of the semester.
So in pilot process for up until December?
So
Through
we
first
can approve the coursework for the
academic.
next school year or for the next semester before winter break.
That would be difficult to
Well,
meet.
then for the year.
And the reason which I'll say that I think because it finishes at the end of semester 1, the feedback loop then would need to be, okay, we'll do the feedback loop. And
Thank you for that. Then bring it back till June 2nd of next year.
and then we could bring it back at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, okay, pilot for 1 year.
Okay,
Did you-
extend the pilot by 1 year.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to clarify on that. Okay, so this is what we're going to be voting on. To continue pilot through to extend it 1 academic year. So it would conclude June of 2027. Okay, so we're going to do a roll call vote. And I'm not going to ask you to vote. Okay, so Angela, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Okay, Martha?
No.
Okay. Adriana?
No.
Okay, Rick?
I'm going to continue to support the people that look up to me and support me. No.
Okay. And then I'm a yes to extend, but the motion fails. So now we will revert back to the original motion, which is to approve adoption of district developed ethnic studies course and curriculum. I will start with you, Rick. What's your vote?
I'm going to continue to support people that look up to me and support them back. Yes.
Okay, Adriana?
Yes.
Okay, Martha?
Yes.
Okay, Angelo?
Nay.
Okay, and I'm a no, and motion carries. So the adoption of district developed ethnic studies course and curriculum is passed by a motion of 3-2. Okay. Our next agenda item is Lozano Smith. It was pulled from consent. Who will be presenting or here to address questions from the board? Hi, Brenda.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. The approval of this agreement will authorize the district to utilize Lozano Smith, along with, we also have 2 other legal services that we also utilize during the fiscal year for 26-27. The firm will provide legal counsel and representation on matters that the district would need, including governance, labor and employment, student services, special education, facilities, maintenance, and any other area in which the district needs support. This agreement provides the districts with access to legal counsel. It is not a specific amount, but does allow us to see the rates that we will be utilizing for 26-27. And that is essentially what the agreement is for.
Thank you. Rick, I'm going to start with you. Since you pulled this agenda item, do you have any clarifying questions?
No clarifying questions.
Okay. Does any other member of the board have any clarifying questions? Okay. Preferential student member? No? Okay. I'll open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, is there any on Zoom? Okay, seeing none on Zoom, I invite a motion. Is there a motion to approve?
Not approve.
You motion to not approve. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion. Sorry, forgot about that. Yeah, discussion, please. Go ahead. Who would like to start discussion?
Well, like I said, my issue with is this law firm in particular.
Okay,
Just keep it simple, just looking over some of their overturned legal advice that they have given to school districts appears to be very aligned more with state level CSBA recommendations instead of what's more localized best interest for districts. I would like I said, I just want to put publicly my vote of no, saying I would prefer to have an attorney firm that would probably be more specifically aligned with North County than how I've seen LaSalle Smith. That's why I'm voting no on them.
okay. Do you have any?
I have no issues with this firm because at the end of the day, we're the ones that, when we request other support, we make the final decision how they want us to support us.
Okay. Adriana?
I agree with Martha, and I also would say we have to follow sometimes, most of the time, the state regulation, which is what
Mhm.
CSBA
Mhm.
follows.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we get to vote on stuff.
Okay. Rick?
Yeah, I just wanted to urge the board to let's make some change sometimes. You know, like this firm has had very much bad reputation, lots of stuff in the news, in the newspapers. They lobby people, lobby districts, wine and dine districts. You know, and just the things that I read, you know, that aren't just bluff or inaccuracies, that it's real stuff. And I don't want our district to be involved with this group. I mean, there's other firms out there. So why do we have to keep, you know, just doing the same thing over and over? I mean, we have to evolve eventually. So you know, I just wanted to for those reasons, I brought them up before, like 2 times a year or plus ago, and then a little while ago. So yeah, well, let's just not affiliate ourselves with this firm.
Okay, thank you, Rick. I have a question. We use multiple law firms, correct? And when we're seeking or deciding what law firm to contact, is it based on their specialties, or what is that? Can you walk me through that process a little bit, just so we understand? Oh, yes, of course.
That's
Unless
okay.
Brenda wants
The
to.
timing is great.
Yeah.
Brenda, you go for it.
There are some firms that are better in regards to employment and relations, and then there are other firms that are more specialized in like litigation, for instance. So it really is. It depends on the specialty.
If we were to vote no, would that negatively impact your ability to maybe seek support in a specialized area that you count on them for?
I mean, yes, it is a firm that we currently use, but if you voted no, we would utilize another one.
Good
That's just
answer.
how it would go.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Okay, is there any further discussion? No? Okay, so the motion.
Public comment? Or did you
Yeah,
have?
good point. Did I? Yeah, I think I started with public
Oh,
comment.
okay.
Did I? I don't know. Did I? You want public comment? No, okay. There wasn't. Thank you, guys. Thank you, audience. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion before us, which is to not approve. It received a second, so we're going to vote on that. And I'm going to start with you. So the motion is not to approve the contract. Do you vote yes or no? And I'm sorry to ask you this. I know it's tough. So to not approve, yes.
You can abstain if you want.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Angela, for pointing that out to her. Okay, Angela, how do you vote?
Fine.
Okay, Martha?
No.
Okay. Adriana?
No.
Rick?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote no. So the motion does not pass. Can I invite another motion? Would somebody like to motion to approve the Lozano Smith
I
agreement?
motion to approve.
Okay, would somebody like to second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we'll move to voting. Preferential vote, we'll start with you. You can also abstain if you'd like to. Okay. Angelo?
Nay.
Okay. Martha?
Yes.
Okay. Adriana?
Yes.
Okay. Rick?
No.
Okay, I vote yay. Motion carries. The contract is approved 3-2. Thank you. Okay, our next is Elevo Learning. Carol, come on up.
Good evening.
How does the board feel?
That's okay.
All right, we're all over. But go ahead if you do.
Good evening, President Ruiz, Superintendent Turkey, members of the board and of the community. I'm Carol Ortiz, Director of Expanded Learning. The contract before you is for Elevo Learning. It's to provide staffing at our elementary school sites. The contract is for 19 Elevo staff members that those positions, well, those employees would be supporting all of our elementary sites beginning the first day of school. Actually, they would be starting on the 10th. So they would participate in our expanded learning training day, and they would be there every day, Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They would be there from 2 to 6 p.m. and then Wednesdays 12 to 6. They provide student supervision coverage. Their being on site on the first day of school ensures that we have student safety, number one, of course, that we have staff coverage on the first day of program. And it also ensures that we're meeting our required staffing ratios. As of right now, this was as of just a few minutes ago, I went through our enrollment numbers for our elementary sites. This is for the first day of school. We have 153 students enrolled at Castroville Nest program, 160 at Echo Valley, 151 at Elkhorn, and 158 at Prunedale. So having these staff members ready to begin on the first day allows us to support those students who are ready to start with our programs on the first day of school.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and start with a motion, and then we'll go into discussion, and not discussion, but public comment. Public comment? Don't we do a motion first and then public comment? Oh, public comment then.
Do clarifying questions first.
See you guys. Thank you. Are there any clarifying questions from the board?
Yes.
Rick?
So the positions I think I saw, like, they don't know where they're going yet? Or, I mean, not the locations, but the positions, like where they're gonna be spread out at, or,
They'll be just at the elementary sites.
oh, just at the.
Just the elementary sites, yeah. And then we have 5 at Castroville, 5 at Echo Valley, 5 at Elkhorn, and 4 at Prunedale.
Can you read those again? I'm sorry.
5 at Castroville, 5 at Echo Valley, 5 at Elkhorn, and 4 at Prunedale.
Wow. Is there stuff that happens at the rec center or at the Japanese parks that, or are these Elevos just going to those schools and they don't leave the school?
They just go to the school and they stay at the school for supervision. Last school year, we did intramural sports at both both locations with the rec center. It's a great partnership. And it depends on the site. They'll either have the Alivo staff stay at the school and supervise while the coaches go to the rec center, for example, and you know, have their competitions. Or if an Alivo staff member happens to be a coach, for example, that happened at Echo Valley this last year, they will go with the team to the rec center.
And do we even try to ask our own employees? It
Yes.
looks like it's only 19 people.
Yes, always. So for example, this last summer, we had a very, very robust summer school program. All of our staff who had applied worked elementary through high school. We are very fortunate to have the community members who really want to work summer school are both classified and certificated, but specifically our classified who are like step up, and thanks to them, we have a very robust summer school program. The challenge that we have during the school year is that they're not able to work the full hours that we need them in after school. So we need staff to be working, well, at the elementary sites, as for example, from 2:45 to 6. And because the permanent staff already work a position during the school day, they're not able to work to support all of the hours that we need support with.
Yeah, and yeah, it's 1,400,000 and something thousand change. Just me personally, I see, you know, our employees, and you explained that, you know, they had the option maybe to go there, but and it's nothing against Alivo, because I've seen them at Seaside and all kinds of other places. They're cool. I just see, you know, a lot of money going to outside agencies, and you know, like there's like, for instance, you said great partnership with the rec center. I see their contracts. It's, man, they're poor over there. They and I'll see all these other vendors just like getting paid. And that's our own community and our own workers that work there, that live in the community in Castroville and wherever else. And you know, we just had a meeting last night, and they're getting like, you know, $17 an hour. You know, and you know, it's just, and they told us that we're low compared to other rec centers. And that's just an example. Obviously, we're not talking about the rec center. But I just wanted to pull this to, you know, for the public to hear and be aware, and you're doing a great job, obviously. Yeah.
I totally agree with your concerns, Rick, that it's a large amount. This is, in the past, we've had a Alivo just by semester only, just to kind of try them out, see what the need is. This is the first one that would be a full year contract. This guarantees that we have staff in our programs all year. So even if there's a sub, for example, there's one of an Alivo staff is absent, they always send a sub. So we're always guaranteed to have that coverage at our elementary sites, which is very comforting for our schools, right? So that it's a difficult balance, because we're putting an investment up front. And at the same time, it leaves our programs knowing that we have the staff that we need, just the basic staff. So if we continue to enroll more students, for example, just looking at the numbers, we will probably need 2 to 5 more staff in addition to this, on top of the base, depending on the number of students who enroll. And then, of course, we're going to look to our classified staff who are willing and able to work additional hours after school, because again, they usually can only work max 2 hours, and so we still have that little bit of time that we need coverage. But I feel like this is just a baseline, and then as we get more students who are interested in attending our programs, we bring in more staff on top of that. And we are not bringing in more Alivo, it's bringing in our classified staff.
Yeah. Do you know what the funding is for this next fiscal year for all of ELO?
So ELO is funded at $5 million, and ELO is TK through 6th grade. ACES is funded at 828,000, and ACES is TK through 8. Did I say ELO is TK6? Because it's TK6 ELO, TK8 is ACES, and assets is 254,000, and that's 9 through 12.
Okay. That's all. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I have a question, Carol.
Mhm.
Our staff not able to work past the 2 hours because of?
Because then we'd be going into overtime, because they work 6 hours during the school day, which the most positions are, then they can only work 2 more hours before we start getting into overtime conversations.
And then the cost would be not, you don't have the funds for the
Yeah,
cost.
it'd be substantial to support that.
Okay, and right now you have funds for this to cover this,
Yes.
and if you don't use those funds, what would happen?
For ACES and assets, those funds do not carry over. They need to be spent the school year. So for example, ACES is TK through 8. So it would be able to fund this contract because it's for the elementaries. ELO does carry over. You have about, I would say, between a year and a half, maybe 2 years to spend out the money. So there is carryover allowed in the ELO, and again, ELO is TK through 6. So with this contract, we would pay part of it out of ACES and then part of it out of ELO.
So you would have to still spend it.
We would
You
still
have a
to spend
little
it no
bit
matter
more
what, yeah.
time. And your program, has it been full?
Oh, yes.
Have you had waiting lists?
Yes,
So
always.
the
Yeah.
interest is there, this is the way and ability to be able to meet our students' needs.
Yes,
Okay,
with
thank
safety
you.
being the number one, we need to make sure we have staff on site when they're there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions?
I didn't have any. They were answered.
Okay.
They
so
were
Angela,
answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Great opportunity. So thank you for the support. Since you said we have so many students and wait lists, are we able to do some type of data? Like some type of data tracking or like which grades are attending, what's their attendance, not only with the program, but attendance at their school. Maybe like work like data on their homework completion, CASP, local assessments, iReady. And are you able to do data on all that, but then also kind of look into what areas helped out? What type of coaching services did they provide that? To see if we can find a correlation between services and growth. Because there might be an opportunity to get some good data here with a small sample size to see how we can implement that in a broader term for the district.
Sure. So you're essentially seeing, if I can paraphrase, did going to the expanded learning after school make an impact to your academics?
Or more like, I just saw a need and go, hey, we got them, we got students here. Are you able to just take some data samples? Just bring it back to the year, like a year from now, saying, hey, they showed up, this is what we saw. What if they did a certain type of intervention or help that brought great results that maybe can be implemented district wide? Just food for thought, saying that there's opportunity here.
Sure.
To see some growth or maybe some new ideas.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We can certainly collect data on it for sure.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other clarifying questions? Okay, if not, I'm going to open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Is there any on Zoom? Okay, we're going to close public comment and I'm going to invite a motion.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, now I'll open it up for discussion. Is there any discussion?
Thank you just for everything you do to meet our student needs.
Thank you.
And we're always looking at ways to figure it out.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Instead of just saying no to our students, no, we can't, we don't have space because you're
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
Are you done? Oh, sorry. I just want to emphasize when you think of AmeriCorps or El Levo, just whoever it is, I'm not, you're doing a great job. Just try, I know there's nuances and like someone can't work over 6 hours and what about the ones that are working 3.5 hours that are yard,
Mhm.
maybe not yard duties or whatnot, and
Mhm.
and maybe some raises to nest,
Mm.
but just in the future.
Mhm.
But you're doing good.
Thank you. Our classified staff is fantastic.
Yeah.
I just, so I completely agree with you, Rick. Yeah. And I just wanted to say, acknowledge Adriana. Thank you. This is my start of my 5th year with this community. I'm very, very honored to be here. I've loved it very, very much. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to invite a vote and I'm going to start with our student preferential vote. Yay or nay or, okay. And then we'll move on to the board. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Those opposed? Is there anyone opposed? Okay, anybody
Abstain.
abstaining? Okay, so we have 4 yes and 1 abstention. Motion carries. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to our last item, which is board requests for information and or possible agenda items. I'm going to start with you, Angelo. No? Okay, Martha?
None.
Okay. Adriana?
None.
Okay, Rick?
Yeah, just a request that the ones that we requested in the past be considered and put on the agenda. I have a cool one that I'll send you that Stephanie Boffman sent me, that a park in Soledad, or more than one park, sensory signs and for nonverbals, and they're just posted right there at the parks, and it's awesome. There's like pictures and words and all that, and so really I have a video of it and I'll send everyone it, but just emphasize on the past requests because it's thank you.
Okay, well, there's a process for asking for agenda items. And I think that we did have a list where we were going through requests. Some of them we've tried to address in workshops and that hasn't been very fruitful. So I probably would need a reminder of the things you're talking about, or maybe we can send that list where we have kind of things that everybody has asked for. And then we can get guidance on how to move forward. Okay, seeing no other requests, I'm going to invite a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, meeting adjourned at 8:53 PM. Thank you, everyone. Here we are.